Alan Wake is a survival horror that was released in 2010 for Xbox 360. It was later released for PC in 2012 and remastered in 2021 for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and Nintendo Switch. I was super excited for this game when it was first announced and purchased it as soon as it was available. It's one of the handful of games that I know like the back of my hand. The story is about a best-selling thriller author, Alan Wake, who has writer's block after finishing his last book. He and his wife take a vacation to a small town called Bright Falls, hoping for relaxation and inspiration for him to keep writing. Unfortunately, there is a dark presence dwelling in the town, and it uses his creations against him, turning whatever he writes into reality. After it takes his wife, he wakes up a week later and tries to find her. The dark presence takes over the townspeople, turning them into creatures of darkness that can only be defeated by shining light on them and killing them. The story gets more complicated from there and is the very definition of a psychological horror. It had a huge budget and was sponsored by companies such as Energizer, Verizon, and obviously Microsoft. The game was gorgeous on release and still looks pretty good today. The product placement was done by having the batteries you use be Energizer brand and the cell phones were Verizon. Sometimes it's funny to see them and realize they're real companies, but it works pretty well. The game was originally going to be an open world, but was changed to linear to fit better with the story. Despite being linear, there is still a huge world to explore and you can find collectibles and helpful items by wandering around. The town and surrounding environment is enormous and gorgeous. Nothing is ever boring, there's always something to see, and it's just so detailed. You can definitely tell the creators put a lot of thought and love into the lore and world. The characters all feel real and are very unique. They have dialogue that continues after you're done talking to them, and it can be insightful or hilarious. Sometimes I would hang around just to see what all they had to say. The dynamics between Alan and a lot of characters are strong and entertaining. You will definitely find yourself liking a lot of people despite them playing minor roles. The game is split between two segments. You either explore the town during the daytime to learn information and talk to people, or you're trying to survive during the nighttime. This is pretty standard for survival horrors, but the nighttime segments are very intense. Alan isn't special, he's just a generic guy. He can use a gun after getting used to it, but he doesn't have any combat skills or anything. It's easy to get surrounded by enemies and they come from all sides all at once. The checkpoints are marked with lights and stepping into one will keep you safe. Often it's a race to reach the light before the enemies take you down, and it's horrifying when the light burns out right as you get there. While there are a few ways to defend yourself, running is usually the best option. The game is rated T, but it contains quite a lot of gruesome and disturbing scenes, such as people being murdered, seeing their dead bodies, dead dog body. One of the collectibles to find are TV shows called Night Springs, which is similar to The Twilight Zone. A lot of the stories told in the show are very unnerving. The first one being about a man who creates a machine that will allow him to shoot himself without ever dying due to it killing an alternate reality version of himself. In front of an audience, he performs the shooting and an audience member accidentally unplugs the machine, causing him to kill himself. Other collectibles include coffee thermoses, supply boxes, and radio segments that tell more story about the townspeople and what's going on at that moment. The biggest collectibles to find are manuscript pages. These pages tell exactly what is going on in the game and can either give you insight on characters or give you a heads up for what is to come. A lot of the characters get disturbed by the fact that everything that's in the manuscript comes true. After beating the main story, there are 2 special episodes to play that explain more about the dark presence and into Alan's mind. The game is huge and there's so much good in it. I love it so much. It's one of the few that I don't have any trouble playing, but is also terrifying as hell. I beat it on the hardest difficulty back when I first got it and didn't realize there was a guide of sorts to show you where to go. I just kept an eye out for any light source. I can beat it pretty easily on normal difficulty, but it does have an easy mode for someone who might have trouble with it. There's also a hard and nightmare mode. I don't know how I beat nightmare mode before. I guess I'll try it again eventually. Reaching the end of the level feels like a huge achievement and every step forward counts. There is so much I love about the game and I can't recommend it enough. The story and characters are wonderful with a ton of great moments thrown in. Alan's agent, Barry, seems to be one of those shallow big money types, but when he shows up, it's obvious that he and Alan are very close friends, and I love their interactions together.
Ow, please don't let me die. Although with my client, this is pretty much how I always wanted to go out. Woo! Now, this may be the most awesome moment of our entire lives. Enjoy it, god damn it!
Another set of characters I love are these two elderly rock stars named Tor and Odin. They take no shit from anyone, and despite seeming senile, they can hold their own. One of my favorite segments is having a battle on their farmhouse stage, fighting off shadow monsters while rock music is playing. It's amazing and hilarious.
Being crazy's a requirement, sonny. Who else could understand the world when it's like this? It takes crazy to know crazy.
That's the sanest thing I've heard in a while.
There have also been novelizations of the game written, one of which my late grandfather read and really enjoyed. There was a live-action prequel TV series called Bright Falls that took place before the start of the game, and elements of the story have shown up in other games such as Quantum Break and Control. There's also an expansion game called Alan Wake's American Nightmare that I'll review in another video. Alan Wake 2 is set to be released in 2023, and it's about time. I'm super excited to see what happens next, and I very much recommend this game and series. Thank you for watching the video. Leave a like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more content, comment if you've played this game before. What do you think about it? Thank you to my patrons on Patreon. You guys mean so much to me. It makes me happy that people want to support me. I have a demo for my RPG game Shards of the Heart, and it's a thing I'm doing. And also for Redbubble if you want to check that out. And thank you for watching.